Welcome to Assembly Update. I'm Asia Lowndes. Today we'll be speaking with Assemblywoman Aileen Gunther of the 98th Assembly District in Sullivan and Orange counties. We'll be talking about the State of the State address that the governor recently delivered and what that means to Ms. Gunther's district. Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, good morning and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Today is January 9th, and we're here in Albany, and we're going to start passing legislation today, which I think is important. We're going to start working early and working hard for the people of New York State. We have a lot of work to do. We have a $2 billion deficit to deal with this year. We did a great job last year with a $10 billion deficit, but we know how important it is to continue the funding for both health care and schools. So it's going to be a dicey situation, but I know that last year we worked in a very bipartisan manner, and we plan to do the same thing this year. There's going to be a lot of discussion. I've been having a lot of reaction from my constituency about some of their expectations. We do have a 2% cap in our counties and our local governments, which is somewhat difficult. But I think that even our local level, people realize that we have to stop spending and be more cost effective. So I think this will be a very productive year. Yet last year, of course, as you know, we did a lot of work. We had an on-time budget. We were able to pass ethics reform. We did the regional economic councils, which is important for jobs in New York State. So this work really has to continue. I think we're beginning to build trust with our constituencies, something that was almost non-existent in the past years. People realize that work up here, that we can no longer just say no. We have to work to the same end goal, which is to create the Empire State, create New York the way it used to be.
Right, and you guys came back, you guys meaning the legislature, in December, and you guys worked really well together then too to close what was a gap in last year's budget.
Absolutely,
is that right?
and you know, I think that it was a long session. We had a lot of discussion, but we were able to meet the end goal, which was to do the right thing and pass that legislation. And, you know, the governor has been a strong governor. I think that the entire United States is watching New York and the way that government is working in the hardest of times. And I think that that proves that New York State is the Empire State, that we all have the same concerns, economic development. We still have in Sullivan County and Orange County an unbelievable unemployment rate. We want to get these people back to work. And, you know, we can only do that if we can create a better economic atmosphere, which we did during that special session in December when we alleviated the MTA tax, which is something I've worked for, you know, for the last couple of years, which helps small businesses to survive, but not only survive, but to grow without that tax.
Okay. Now, something that's been talked about for quite a while now is gaming.
Gaming.
And I know that would be particularly important to your district.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And the governor actually discussed that during his State of the State address. If it's okay, we're going to take a look at what he had to say.
Great.
Okay.
Another potential economic engine for the state is casino gaming. Now, when it comes to casino gaming, I believe we are living in a state of denial. It's time we confronted reality. It is not a question of whether or not we should have gaming in the state. We have gaming in the state of New York. We have tribal casinos all across the state. We have racinos all across the state. We don't realize it, we don't regulate it, we don't capitalize on it, but we have gaming. As a matter of fact, we have 29,000 electronic gaming machines. That is more than in Atlantic City. That is more than any state in the Northeast or the Mid-Atlantic. So the debate, well, we don't want to go into the gaming business, is just not true. We are in the gaming business. We're not doing it well. We're not doing it as well as we should be doing it, but we are in the gaming business. We are also surrounded by casinos on virtually every border of the state. Massachusetts just legalized casinos. So not only do we have gaming within the state, we are surrounded by gaming. And for us, this is not about chips and cards. This is about the jobs that the casino industry generates. We estimate $1 billion in economic activity for the state of New York if we actually recognize the reality and regulate and capitalize on gaming the way we should. Let's amend the Constitution. Let's do gaming right. Let's make it safe. Let's protect our people. But let's get the jobs back in New York, and let's take the first step this year.
I think I was the only one that stood up and applauded because I was very happy. I was very, very happy.
So what would it take to make that happen in the Catskills legislatively?
Well, it's a constitutional amendment. We have to pass it in 2012. In the next legislative session, we'd have to pass it in 2013, and then it would go to statewide referendum.
Okay.
The first passage actually occurred in 2001, right after 9/11, in a response to the economic downturn. We passed it in 2001. However, we were unable, actually it was my husband Jacob, was unable to pass it again to move forward on the constitutional amendment. I think that this governor is wise, and he's absolutely right that we're surrounded by states that have approved gaming. I think it's time that New York State get in the game. I think that when he talks about $1 billion worth of economic spin-off, it's incredible. That's half the deficit this year. And I think that $1 billion is what we estimate, but I think there will be a lot more money. I know in my community, a casino, a full Class 3 casino gaming facility, which would be a destination for tourism, with hotel rooms, with shows, with great restaurants. You could buy wonderful retail. I think that this is what we really need, and I think that we're late in the game, and I don't know really why. I had talked with the governor's office, not just this governor, 3 governors so far, and talked about the fact that we have casino gaming. We have racinos all over the state of New York, but people really like that Class 3 gaming. They like to sit down at the table and play cards, and I know that there are some opponents of it, and I understand, but I think that we can balance and make sure that we have the help that people that have addiction to gaming, but they're there already. They're betting on horse tracks. They're doing it behind the scenes.
Right.
They're doing it illegally, and I think this would be a great thing for the state of New York. The minute that we have first passage, this is what I anticipate. I anticipate people investing in Sullivan County, buying land. I believe that they'll begin some of the construction. They'll put a shovel in the ground. And when the governor said jobs, 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 that's absolutely what we need in Sullivan County. I have a great group of union friends, and they're just dying. They're waiting for this to happen. There have been so many people out of work, so many people on unemployment. This is a way to solve that problem by creating jobs, and this is one way we can create jobs. There are many more, but this is a piece of the pie, part of the equation, and especially for my area. I was in 1972, I was in high school, and it was at that point Kutcher's where they were beginning to get the one-armed bandit, because in 1972, this was a conversation that occurred in the Catskill. It was a tourist destination, and they just thought it would enhance the economy of Sullivan County. Now the governor is looking at, building a new convention center, 4 million square feet. The largest in the world. I think the other one is in Chicago.
Right.
And I think that he really has a plan for the future of New York. We have to make people start coming to New York. This is what we need. And I certainly hope that I'll be the third one on that bill. I'm hoping, and I hope someone's listening to me, because I've had this bill since the very beginning when I took office, and I'm very excited that this is a governor that's being proactive. He knows that it already exists and that we can do something more for New York State.
So there's a lot more positive to come out of this than negative.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's like people are addicted to alcohol. We don't close bars.
That's
I mean,
true.
you really can't prevent people with an addictive behavior, what you can do is provide treatment for those that want to heal, but I think this will only be a great thing for New York State, and especially for my county, Sullivan County. And you know, the Catskill is a great place to come. Right now we have Bethel Woods, we have so many different outdoor activities to offer, yet we don't have any hotels. We have the Villa Roma, we have a few of them, but not enough to really, when 17,000 people enter into our county to see a concert, we don't have any place to put them. We have bed and breakfast, but we could do a lot more. And also, with some of the plans, remember, it's going to be a family destination. They're going to have things for children. There's going to be outdoor activities. We have ski hills. You can go bike riding. You can go hiking. There are so many things to do. You know, a trip down the Delaware on a raft, can't beat it. You really can't beat it. So looking good to me. Thank you, Governor Cuomo.
Now, can you tell us a little bit about what to expect in terms of education? The governor also mentioned that.
Well, my understanding is they want to put more in education aid, and one of the important parts of supporting education in rural areas, a lot of those areas really took a bad hit last year, and I know that we had to do it because, you know, we had to be fiscally responsible, but we're hoping that they look at each district and look at the needs of the population and the needs of the school districts. I represent rural school districts in a very low socioeconomic area. We have a lot of needs, and our taxpayers, you know, supporting education on real property taxes, that's really something that we really have to focus on this year. It's really not the way to support education. And also, you know, there's a big push to take over county Medicaid. You know, I'm sure we'll be looking at that. And one of the important parts of the whole equation about the support of education is the mandates and the testing. Right now, they're overloaded with mandates, and I look at some of my superintendents, Ivan Katz, Ken Eastwood, and I know they do the right thing, and I know they've been in the business of education for a very, very long time, and they can really do more with less if they alleviate some of these mandates. Some of them are just old, they don't belong there anymore, they're unnecessary. We have to allow people to be creative. You know, we've seen a lot of shows about Finland and some of the creativity and the respect that we have for teachers, that they're elevated on the same level as doctors and lawyers, and you know, I do have a son that's a teacher in New York City. My sister also teaches in a school system. My mom was a teacher. I come from a long line of teachers. None of us are wealthy, by the way, Asia. But I think that we have to look at what we can do more, how we can do more with less, and let's let the experts work with the government to make sure that we're doing the right thing. I always believe in the ground-up approach, that, you know, don't dictate, allow the people that do it best, that are in the trenches, to actually create the policies and procedures for education or healthcare, and I think it works much more effectively.
Okay, well, as we kind of move into session, you'll have to keep us updated on the governor's jobs plan, on education, on everything. We're going to have a good year, I think.
I think so too, and I have legislation that I'm excited to pass. Today I have a round table. I'm the Vice Commissioner of Rural Resources, so we'll move on with that.
Okay, thank you so much for joining
us. Thank you.
We've been speaking with Assemblywoman Aileen Gunther of the 98th Assembly District in Sullivan and Orange Counties. Thank you so much for watching.